Seizure, 15 years imprisonment, Ohio, 1944, a household prosecuted for storing 75 pounds of wheat. This isn't mythology. These are documented legal frameworks embedded in emergency authority legislation currently dormant. When chaos strikes, 5 specific resources disappear first, confiscated using tracking methods most never consider exist. We're examining what vanishes, detection techniques, and strategies rendering you completely invisible. Fundamental truth: your greatest liability isn't what you possess, but what others know you possess. Primary target: energy reserves and backup power, diesel, gasoline, propane exceeding 30 gallons, portable generators. Logic is simple. Without fuel, emergency infrastructure collapses inside 84 hours. Emergency vehicles halt. Medical facilities go offline. Your 650-gallon underground installation versus powering district medical operations. You're losing that equation, not from malice, but desperation supported by legal authority. Detection methodology: that residential propane installation is satellite visible currently. Mapping platforms identify it. Emergency teams access property databases, correlate overhead imagery, generate seizure lists. Your installation has coordinates. Thermal reconnaissance simplifies this. Propane generates distinct heat patterns. Generators produce thermal signatures detectable on infrared equipment. Single drone flyover catalogs every residence with independent electrical capacity. Acoustic surveillance becomes devastating. Your generator seems whisper quiet inside your storage building. During total blackout with zero background noise, human auditory detection extends 600 meters. Sound transmission changes when traffic disappears. Climate systems stop. Commercial equipment shuts down. That ambient baseline plummets from 70 decibels to 35. Suddenly, your suppressed 62 decibel generator broadcasts louder than anything for 3 kilometers. Resource teams patrol with windows lowered, tracking audio. You've pinpointed your coordinates through sound alone. Visual exposure: you're operating electrical systems while surrounding households sit dark. Illuminated windows, electronic displays, chimney emissions. In absolute darkness, your residence becomes a beacon. Single candle flame remains visible across kilometers. Your lit residence? Advertisement board. Even practicing light control, thermal emissions reveal you. You're maintaining warmth. Everyone else freezes. That temperature variance becomes targeting data. Response strategy: decentralization and emission suppression. Eliminate the single massive storage. Utilize 60-gallon drums marked pool maintenance or irrigation. 7 drums distributed throughout your land equals 420 gallons without obvious installation. They locate 1 container. You forfeit 60 gallons, not everything. Geographic distribution prevents catastrophic loss. Generator deployment requires underground sound baffling. 5-inch PVC conduit routes exhaust into buried chamber 45 to 65 feet distant. Chamber contains steel wool or insulated fiberglass in waterproof packaging. Hot exhaust heats material while thermal mass absorbs acoustic energy. Exhaust vents atmospheric through perforated distribution pipe. Surface level: your generator produces sound resembling distant breeze. Thermal signature disperses without correlating to your structure. Alternative approach: acoustic enclosures utilizing mass-loaded vinyl with rubber vibration isolation. Reduces audible signature 28 to 38 decibels. Detection radius shrinks from 600 meters to 90 feet. Light management isn't optional. Blackout barriers on every opening. Verify effectiveness from exterior after dark. Any luminous leakage creates vulnerability. Implement red spectrum illumination or eliminate artificial lighting completely. Heating considerations: avoid smoke production. Electric heating from your acoustically suppressed generator. High-efficiency combustion systems with secondary burn producing minimal visible emissions. Solar installations present distinct challenges. Rooftop mounting announces independent power from aerial observation. Solution is ground-mounted arrays behind privacy barriers or canopy coverage. You sacrifice 22 to 32% efficiency, but achieve invisibility. Panels concealed behind 12-foot privacy fencing remain invisible to overhead reconnaissance. Power generation means nothing without intelligence gathering. You require knowledge about which routes have enforcement stations, where confiscation teams operate, which districts face active searches. You need communication capability, which explains why your antenna installation makes you primary target. Second seizure category: communications infrastructure. Amateur radio systems, general mobile radio units, satellite communication devices, citizens band equipment, high-performance antennas, mesh networking, software-defined radio platforms, anything enabling communication outside government-controlled channels. Seizure rationale: information dominance forms foundation for controlling civil disorder. Every authoritarian takeover follows identical methodology. Commandeer broadcasting infrastructure, disable independent networks, establish information monopoly. Your capacity for independent communication represents threat requiring elimination. Detection relies on radio frequency triangulation. Transmitting generates electromagnetic emissions traceable to origin point. Radio direction finding existed since the 1940s, refined across 85 years. Contemporary digital direction finding systems pinpoint transmission sources within meters in moments. 3 monitoring installations detect your signal, calculate time differential between reception points. Basic trigonometry provides your coordinates. Initial sweep narrows to district. Secondary sweep identifies your street. Third sweep confirms your building number. Military-grade airborne systems accomplish this under 90 seconds. The danger: during declared communications emergencies mandating transmission silence, broadcasting itself constitutes violation. Message content becomes irrelevant. Signal represents crime. You activate transmission checking if your associate has electricity. Congratulations. Federal violation. You've broadcast coordinates to every monitoring station within range. Your unauthorized transmission source. That designates you priority for equipment confiscation. Response protocol. Receive-only operations. These words deserve permanent memory. Passive reception generates 0 emissions. Cannot be detected. Cannot be triangulated. Intelligence methodology. Listen exclusively. Monitor emergency channels. Scan amateur frequencies. Observe shortwave broadcasts. Intercept active transmissions, but never transmit. Never respond. Never acknowledge. Radio silence remains absolute. This singular discipline provides comprehensive situational intelligence without detection footprint. Most preparedness practitioners struggle with receive-only protocols because it feels inactive. You monitor someone requesting assistance and instinct demands response. You want coordination with your network. Suppress that instinct. Every transmission risks operational security. Unless circumstances involve immediate life-threatening emergency where advantages clearly exceed risks, maintain complete silence. This is psychologically challenging but represents distinction between preserving capability and losing everything within 84 hours. Antenna exposure, that rooftop array providing exceptional range, its massive indicator advertising advanced communications capability here. Visible to community members, visible to patrols, visible to aerial surveillance, defeats covert capability purpose if everyone observes professional antenna infrastructure on your structure. Solution is concealment design. Dipole wire antennas in attic spaces. Long wire along roof lines beneath overhangs. Random wire through vegetation disguised as support cables. Clothesline antennas functioning as actual clotheslines. You forfeit 28 to 38% performance but achieve invisibility. That exchange is tactically justified. Faraday protection for backup equipment. Primary systems remain accessible but reserve radios, spare handhelds, replacement components require protection in Faraday containers. Metal ammunition containers with conductive gasket seals. Multiple layers of metallized mylar packaging. Galvanized receptacles with secure lids. Serves dual functions. EMP protection from nuclear events, solar phenomena, or electromagnetic pulse weapons, and blocks all electromagnetic transmissions both directions. Equipment inside proper Faraday construction becomes electronically invisible. Cannot be remotely accessed. Cannot have firmware interrogated. Cannot be detected through scanning. It's dark until activation. But here's reality nobody articulates. All intelligence globally means nothing if you're starving. If community members know you're consuming while they're experiencing starvation conditions, if inspection teams discover your stockpile, which introduces most psychologically complex resource, food, and why your stocked pantry legally constitutes criminal activity. Third asset class, food reserves, bulk grains, legumes, preserved goods cases, dehydrated meal containers, livestock, substantial gardens, grain storage, anything representing stored nutrition exceeding immediate consumption requirements. Understanding legal structures is essential because it contradicts American property ownership concepts. Anti-hoarding legislation. Real, documented, implemented repeatedly. United States Lever Act during 1917 criminalized food hoarding federally. 1918 rationing made excess storage illegal. Venezuela's recent legislation included imprisonment sentences. Soviet systems made private storage offense against collective. Universal pattern. When scarcity arrives, full pantries become evidence of community theft. Psychology is merciless. 15 households starve. Yours doesn't. Therefore, you're hoarding. Your preparation becomes irrelevant. What matters is inequality perception during crisis. You possess food, they don't. Political problem requiring resolution. Redistribute your reserves. Render you vulnerable like everyone else. Detection begins with digital forensics. Every bulk warehouse purchase, every 70-pound grain bag, every preserved goods case exists in databases. Credit transactions, loyalty programs, online purchases, already compiled, cross-referenced during crisis with resource tracking authorization. This becomes targeting roadmap. Addresses with historical bulk purchasing patterns receive automatic flagging. Data already exists. They need legal authority to act. Waste analysis reveals narratives. Everyone else on minimal rations generates light refuse with government distribution packaging. Your waste. Additional wrappers, private labels, packaging not matching official supply chains. You're consuming superior to established baseline. Refuse proves it conclusively. Human intelligence through incentivized informants. This is brutal but most effective. When sufficiently desperate, social connections fracture. Governments weaponize this, reporting channels with rewards, additional rations for actionable intelligence. Your neighbor faces decision. Report your stockpile and feed his household another week, or maintain silence and watch his children starve. Most select family. They'll rationalize betrayal, convince themselves you were selfish. Betrayal arrives wrapped in moral justification. Response is decoy pantry. You need visible, accessible, modest supply, matching anticipated quantities under rationing. 5 to 7 days basics. Preserved soups, crackers, grains, pasta, nut butter. Maintain in kitchen storage where anyone entering observes it. When authorities inspect, cooperate completely. Open storage. Display what you have. Express appropriate concern. Surrender decoy willingly without resistance. The decoy serves multiple functions. Satisfies inspectors' psychological requirement to locate something. They arrived for food hoards. You provided access to pantry. Not impressive, but tangible evidence. They complete documentation, note compliance, proceed. Establishes you as cooperative rather than suspicious. This perception reduces scrutiny, lowers priority for follow-up inspections. Most critically, protects actual stockpile through misdirection. They discovered food. Objective complete. Human psychology suggests searches terminate when goal achieved. Exploit that bias. Genuine long-term storage demands structural concealment, rendering it physically invisible to anything short of destructive searches. False walls creating void space not visible on floor plans, subfloor compartments accessed through carpeting or furniture, hollow spaces inside integrated cabinetry. Critical principle is making storage architecturally implausible, not hidden rooms with bookcase doors, too obvious. Instead, make storage exist in spaces that shouldn't exist according to visible structure. Gap between basement ceiling and main floor 9 inches larger than standard framing requires. Closet 4 feet shallower than exterior wall suggests. Minor discrepancies that don't trigger suspicion during rapid searches. Nobody's measuring every dimension during expedited inspections. Absolute waste discipline is non-negotiable. Never dispose of bulk packaging in residential collection, not once. Paper and cardboard gets combusted completely, metal containers cleaned and distributed into random commercial waste receptacles during overnight disposal operations. Different locations, different nights. Everything broken down so fragments don't correlate. Your household waste stream must match decoy pantry consumption patterns. But here's brutal reality. Calories are strategically worthless if you cannot treat infections, cannot manage traumatic pain, cannot stop hemorrhaging, which introduces medical supplies and why your bathroom storage receives audit priority. Fourth asset, medical resources. Your choice. Just don't take too long making it. Preparation window is always smaller than you think.